Okay,
Right.
now we're good.
All right. Welcome to another episode of COG Musing. We're the Dr. Brad Robinson and myself, Dr. Mike Martin, and Dr. Terrence McCullough. We get to talk about whatever we want to talk about.
We are in that right.
Yeah, yeah. And it's usually pretty good.
Yes.
The whole thing, most of
You
it.
know, keep it light. Keep it light.
It's all, yeah, keep it like it's all conversation based in a lot of experience, a lot of intent, and whether it sounds like it or not, a lot of love. So I think
Indeed.
uh, I think today's topic was born from a question that was asked you, right, Terrence? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So it was, this has been brought up a couple times about the adjustment and destructive forces that a couple other chiropractors were very intent that um, the adjustment, and maybe I'm wrong, but they were saying it could be destructive. And I I don't agree with that as long as the intent is right. So I know then
Right.
we just have been on a journey the last 2 weeks about trying to find even the term destructive forces, which I know, Mike, you said you found something, and I know I saw universal forces a lot, and then how that relates to innate and adaptability. And
Yeah.
the one thing that I not sure that I found was about intent, which I still think is the most important, which separates manipulation from adjustment, and particularly chiropractic adjustment. I think we have to put that in front of
Yeah.
it, the chiropractic adjustment.
Well, I can tell you, I went on a deep dive just looking for anywhere that anybody said or described what destructive forces are, and it's only really I saw it mentioned twice. Now I'm sure it's mentioned more in other texts, but I only looked at about three or four texts. The only place destructive forces is even used is BJ, states that universal is destructive forces. Universal intelligence can be destructive. I think he's what he said.
Right.
Um, okay. I mean, in and of itself, the first time I read it, I thought, well, that's a little hard to swallow because it is universal intelligence, right? Gus, God, whatever you want to believe. But then I start thinking about gravity and gravity's effect on us, and that's destructive. That's a universal force. So it opened up a line of thought that was like, okay, what do you want to call that? You want to call that entropy? Whatever.
Right.
So then I'm like, okay, so universal intelligence can be destructive, right? Where does that lead us? Right? I don't know. Um, I'm still contemplating that. He did say that innate forces are never destructive,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
He said universal forces have no solicitude for the matter in which they work. Okay. It's bigger than our physical matter then, right? That's what I'm thinking. And there's a grander scale and scheme to this universe than I can imagine. So all right, I'll swallow that. I'll buy that. And then if our innate intelligence can not be destructive, and intelligence creates force to move the matter, then those innate forces are then only constructive. All right, I get that because that's what we use for adaptability, right? And I'm trying to think of the word that he used.
Well, I think the concept of tone falls right into that because it's the balance between centrifugal and centripetal forces that create that tone. And if the universe is continuing trying to break things down through entropy, going into
Yeah,
a state of organization to a state of chaos, where your innate intelligence is doing just the opposite.
yeah, yeah.
It's trying to maintain the organism through being affected by those outside forces. And you look at and examples are if you don't maintain your house or your lawn or the roads, um, they're gonna it's gonna break down. it's going to go into a greater state of disorganization. If you don't take care of your body, it's going to go into a greater state of disorganization. That's why innate forces are necessary to balance that out, and that's why I think the concept of tone comes into place.
Yeah. Well, he uses the word coordination, which, that leads to adaptability and matter, right?
Yep.
He calls the measure of forces foreruns or foreruns,
Right.
um, because he says that innate forces are, for lack of a better term, non-tangible. They're not of this world until they drive the intelligence, the matter. He uses that unit as foreruns, and then once they're in matter, then they're tangible for coordination, for adaptability, for whatever. And like you said, Brad, that's what fights the universal forces, right? Universal
Okay.
intelligence forces. Okay,
The
so
adaptability, yes.
yeah, so I
What
get
it does
that.
with that force, yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's understandable. The semantics and the way he writes sometimes, you got to go through it a few times, but
He was BJ.
I know, I know. So I guess that lands on if universal forces can be destructive, then if the adjustment is part and parcel, then that can it possibly be destructive? Again, we're going to play semantics, right? Because I would say that a manipulation can be destructive
Agreed.
because the components of a manipulation to me aren't the same as the components of an adjustment. The adjustment involves your innate intelligence based upon your intent, right?
Yes.
And what
Can you
else? I mean,
expand
there
upon
are other
that, Mike?
components. Huh?
Expand upon that. How's a manipulation different than an adjustment?
Well, that's again, this we're going to get into gray area because it's just my personal definition and feelings, right? I don't think there's any Webster definition of, well, I guess there is a Webster's definition of both of them, right? And I think
Right.
it probably does differentiate the two. But for me, I think the adjustment involves intent, it involves technique, it involves a connection, it involves understanding, it involves love, it involves all that stuff that we can put under a heading of intent, love.
Well, he used to say with that something, right?
Yeah,
That
right, right. Yeah.
that was the whole thing. Yeah.
And maybe that's why BJ used that terminology, right? Because it encompasses all that and it's open to your definition or your feelings, right? And I think if you combine that adjustment with that special something, then it can't be destructive.
Right.
It's
Agreed.
impossible because you've gotten your physical body out of the equation. You've gotten your educated out of the equation, and now, like my uncle used to say, you're just a Halloweenie, right?
Right.
Just a vessel for that force, that innate force, right? To make the adjustment.
Well,
With the intent of connecting, uniting man the physical with man the spiritual.
Yeah, I think again, Brad, I think that's our educated way of getting to innate, right?
Right.
But I think there becomes a point, and I know I've touched it a few times where you're not even there, you know? You're there as the physical deliverer of the thrust, but you're clear, right?
right.
Right?
Well,
And
I
it's
think the discussion also came out of then, like I said, the other couple chiropractors very focused on their technique. Obviously, one was Gonstead that the old find it, fix it, leave it alone,
hmm
and his part of his premise that maybe a lot of us were adjusting too much, and then my premise was, if you're hurting, if you're sick, whatever term I use, I want somebody to touch me more, and
hmm
I think my body's under an incredible um, challenge, and the more healing I can get from somebody who has the intent to heal me, the more I would take. And
Yeah.
then it also was the stuff from the Spears Clinic, and then the Santos lecture we listened to about, where at the Spears Clinic, they were adjusting people every 15 minutes for tuberculosis or what, and the Santos's daughter every hour or every, whatever. Or I don't know, my own experience with kids, if they're not well, you know, as off, every
Yeah.
hour,
Yeah.
but also just, that's the other thing, what I said about, well, what's the adjustment? Then you have practitioners network or best technique where there's not a thrust, right? It's touch and hold. And we have that discussion about kids, little kid, infants, right? That it's literally that, now you're really talking about intent, in my opinion, because it's not the thrust or the cavitation. And in Sinnett's book, um, he says any force that is unable to be adapted by the body may cause trauma. So that was interesting for him to say that. That was his chiropractor as a provider of universal force.
Yeah.
So interesting. So I don't
It is an
disagree with.
interesting thought, right?
Yeah, I don't disagree with it, but we've also
But yeah,
times thought about the subluxation as a layered, or I have a layered problem that we're kind of adjusting a layer at a time, bring the body back. We've all had those moments where, and I believe it's like when you, like said, when you're clear, you can transcend so much that, and I don't, you're Christ-like, that when you touch people, they heal, that there's those people that are those moments where you can
yeah,
have that one adjustment cure somebody, or in the moment, um, releases their innate that they can
yeah,
adapt to the highest level. And I mean, and those are kind of the discussions. And then how many chiropractors do you hear about now that people are sicker and more toxic than ever, that the
yeah.
adjustments don't hold? I mean, I hear that all the time from, quote, like a good friend of mine in practice who's more or less our age, and said, yeah, they're just not holding like they used to. I have to,
Right. There
because
are more
there's,
toxic.
and
Yeah.
we've all heard that and have experienced that. Yes.
Yeah. We do forget about that other side of the coin, that the patient is also responsible for being able to accept the adjustment, right?
Right.
It-
That comes with intent
And
and
I
trust.
get,
Yeah.
yeah, I get that. I mean, we're given an adjustment just because we're transferring, some intent and information with that cavitation or thrust or not. We forget that they're part of the equation, the patient.
Oh, absolutely.
They have to have the ability to receive it. Now, having said that, we understand that. Then does the adjustment could become destructive if they don't have the ability to accept
Well, I would say
source and
maybe
information?
none of that gets in the way, because like with infants, there's no thought process to get in the way
Right.
of it. And oftentimes I think of it so many times with babies with fever or ear infections, and you adjust them, that morning, and the parents call you that afternoon, and they're like, oh, he or she just has slept for 10 hours. They haven't slept in 3 days. The
Yeah.
fever's gone. Or, I did it with uh, one of my sons, and he went really wild after the adjustment for a while. And then next thing I know, he's just playing, and you forget to look, and then you see
Yeah.
the blood in his ear, that it's released, the pressure's gone, and
Right. We've all done that, right? Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, or
I don't
again,
know.
I don't
What?
want to bring it up, but how successful people are with adjusting animals. There's no, quote, like a conscious thought of.
Allopathy and what, yeah.
Well, and
Correct.
that's the difference between an adjustment or let me back up here. That's why it proves there's no such thing. It's not a placebo. There's an actual physical and chemical response to that adjusting. And my good buddy Will Tickle used to say, chiropractors make the adjustings, the patient makes the adjustment. The patient has to accept it. And if they are ready to accept it, as an infant would be because there's nothing fighting it, then they're going to clear much easier than an adult says, oh, this is not real, or I've got all this stress in my life. That's why the adjustings are not as effective in the beginning for many people because it takes time to peel those layers back,
Sure.
allow innate to do what it needs to do.
Well, the adjustment is just freeing that mental impulse that's not getting through because of the subluxation, right?
Right.
So, um, well, I'm going to take that as an absolute positive if there's a good intentional adjustment. There is some mental impulse that is freed, but who's to say that their toxicity is so high that it's only free for 15 minutes
Or 30 seconds,
or 30 seconds,
you know?
right? So now we're building a case for against find it, fix it, and leave it alone.
Right.
Well, and then you find it again. I mean, just because
I know, I hear you.
Yeah.
you gotta check regularly. And if your technique tells you that this person is subluxated,
yeah,
then
so,
you adjust them regardless.
Yeah. So
Symptoms
here's the argument for adjusting every 15 minutes throughout the day is that if that mental impulse is freed and it's still free and you're applying an adjustment with intention, then it's not for naught, but it might not actually free any more mental impulse on that adjustment.
And that's why
It doesn't make it not okay to adjust at that time.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Doesn't mean that the body won't adapt.
It'll use it or it won't use it, right?
Correct.
It's smarter than we are.
That's a very good point.
Right?
Yeah.
We can't
We can't measure that.
results.
No. There's no way to measure a full run.
See, and that's the difference. People
get
misunderstand. They think that the mental impulse and the nerve impulse are synonymous, and they're not.
Yeah, right.
So true.
That's
why the whole neuro craze, right? They think it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. And it's still, I guess it was Sinnott, but everybody said that they still can't explain things neurologically. Like the things that happen are faster than the 9.9 meters per second squared.
Yeah.
And not all that information is carried through the nerve. It's carried in that something innate.
Right. In that something.
And nobody wants to talk about that. Oh no, it's all in the nerve impulse. No. The nerve impulse is different than the mental impulse. Brad, that's really important.
That's very important. That's key right there, right?
That's something. That's the whole difference. That's when intent becomes a part because that's what's part of the mental impulse. That's the connection.
Right.
Absolutely.
Boy, if we could measure mental impulse and actually measure tone,
Correct.
I mean, there are attempts at it with heart rate variability, thermography, surface EMG. There are attempts at measuring that, but it's still
we don't know what we can't measure, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's hopefully over time we'll have a better idea. But for right now, this is what we have.
Yeah. Hopefully
you got to fall back on your philosophy.
Right.
Trust,
faith.
Yeah, faith, conviction. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we still haven't figured out light. So why are we, we can talk about it. We use it. We trust in it. We have faith in it. Right.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yep. I still don't know how it works. Yeah.
I know it works.
Yes, 100% every time. Right. Just like the adjustment. That'd be the other thing. It does work every time. We're just not privileged to know what it is, Then you bring in the time component. It can work 100%, but there may be limitations of matter and time, right? That's the other huge
principle number 6 stands out all the time. There's no process that does not take time, and that's what people are.
Boy, do I fight against that principle every day.
Absolutely. That's funny and true. Yeah, so I'll be curious how I'll probably speak to these guys, I think next Monday or Tuesday. See Well, first of all, I'm sure they won't have done any homework. That's which
Yeah, right.
I mean, which and that's fine. But I still think they're thinking of force way more in um, just the
Yeah, yeah.
that and
They're thinking of the force in terms of a ring dinger.
yes, yes. Well, and that's what I've said to the
And,
group.
and I'm sure there are times when that adjustment actually has positive outcomes.
Of course it does. Yeah,
So,
I agree.
but
I
you
agree.
know, uh,
That's how smart
Dr.
the body
Sid,
is. Yeah.
Dr. Sid said a 2x4 might create mental
Yep.
impulse.
Yep. It might.
Yeah, might.
Well, and that's why Dr. Sid would drop the keys
Ah,
because gravity works every
every time,
time, all the time.
all the time.
Innate
Yeah,
intelligence works every time, all the time,
all the
if
time.
you can remove the interference and give it enough time to
Yeah.
heal.
And I'd say universal intelligence works every time, all the time.
Oh my God, yes.
We don't know the complete understanding of what that entails because we don't,
Yep.
yeah, we're not privileged, like Terrence said.
No, absolutely. Yeah. That's the fun of it, actually. That is the fun of it. Yeah. So,
So it builds a real good case for um, studying, meditating, training, all those things that give you the intent,
yeah. And
the
then give
love,
you
the connection,
love, conviction.
skill,
Yep.
the skill, right?
That's the
This isn't,
preparation.
yeah, yeah, right, yeah, right, right. Disciplines and preparation, right? I mean, you
And,
can't,
and you don't rise to your level of expectations, you sink to your level of training.
absolutely,
So
100%.
how well you train for whatever you're doing
Yeah.
is going to determine your outcomes. So if you
I'm not
are
going to tell you what your training is, right?
right,
You're
Okay.
going to figure that out through trial and error. I
exactly.
used to think everybody used to have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and start their stuff. Some people don't get up till 9 o'clock, but they're up until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
It's just a shift in paradigm, right? So I can't tell you anymore that you need to get up at 4:30 and you can do the same things in your time frame, right?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I think the most important part, Mike, is that you should, and this forum is share what we know,
Yeah,
share how we got there, but it is up to everybody who listens to go search. So they should,
right.
so I really found, Sinnett's book, a beautiful update of Stevenson's,
Mm,
and again, maybe a little more readable at
right.
this point in time. And I would heartily suggest it. I had read it before and
I don't think I have it.
What's
you
the
don't have
title of that book?
um, a textbook of chiropractic philosophy,
Okay.
2009. You met him, right, Mike? You gave him
Yeah,
your
yeah.
book,
Brad
right?
and I just were with him at the BCA.
Um, yeah. So
And
uh,
I have an article of his from probably 20 years ago, talking about intention and what it is. And to this day, I think it's still the best description of intention. I'll send you a copy of it. I'll
yeah,
go.
please
Yeah.
send that over. It
Yeah,
was
I'd like to see
it was
that too.
I was glad I read it. I read probably half of it again, just
Yeah.
through it. And I had read it before. I'm like, I got to go back and read it again because it
Yep.
really
I
just
got to the back. Brad was kind enough to give me an original copy of Volume 5. And I found a lot of stuff in there, along with Stevenson's and some other stuff. But I finally got to the back of Volume 5. I don't even know. I mean, some of that is written for advertisement for students in
right.
1910 or whenever I think it was written. It's like, wow, interesting. I've never gotten that far into it. So yeah, learning, reading, studying, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really what will build that curiosity will build your conviction and intent, and then you go to work and you put it into play, right?
There's another one, right?
Yep.
You're in that adjusting suite. You've got 3 or 4 tables full. One of those tables has 4 kids running around. You got 3 other people in the hot seats trying to ask you questions. Then this stuff has to be applicable.
Yep.
Being able to shut all that down and being intentional in your adjustment.
Yep.
That might be the hardest part,
Yep.
Sure.
right?
Distractions are take no energy at all. Focus takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've seen chiropractors pick their heads up with hands on a patient and answer a question to somebody that's not even in on the table. I've done it.
I'm
Sure,
guilty
we've
of
all
that.
done it.
I've done it. I
Absolutely.
got really good at not doing it. For two reasons, because my tech CA a lot of times was Lisa, my wife, or even sometimes my mom, and they literally would just actually Lisa would just click a pen. As soon as I heard that pen clicking, I knew that I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing.
Nice.
That's good pattern interrupt.
That really
Yeah.
is.
And somebody gave me a big statue of a rhino, and it sat like on a half wall and literally looked right at all three adjusting tables. And I tell you, I'd pick my head up and see that rhino, and it would snap me right back to or right out of intention, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
So
CJ would talk
Good.
about having a cockpit, creating your cockpit,
it's kind of what was
your
going on,
adjusting,
right?
and you want to have things that will bring you back to focus
Yeah.
on what you're supposed to be, and that's the patient in
Mhm.
front of you. That's where
You need
present
that,
time
right?
consciousness comes
Yep.
into place. But we talk about that daily preparation, and you're right. You got to find what works for you, but you got to do something physically, mentally, spiritually, chiropractically
Yeah.
every day to be able to work at this high volume, high pace, and that separates the greats from the mediocre.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's nine to five. Yeah.
I asked Terrence for his affirmations about a month ago just because I don't know if I thought mine were getting stale, but I wanted to look at some other ones,
Yep.
you know? Big help.
Yeah.
Send them to me too, please.
Yeah. I still have them in a text, so or email, so I'll just shoot them over. But yeah,
No,
it's
you always
important.
need to refresh, right? It's constant.
Yeah.
Uh, put it out there. It's kind of like when you talk about the work, Brad, it's uh, the pray unceasingly, right?
Uh-huh.
That's why I said for me, that's so chiropractic was so important because if you're looking for it everywhere, then it's in your physical training, it's in your mental training, it's in your spiritual training. Uh, you just see it everywhere, and that's why I mean it's a shame that the chiropractic philosophy, is kind of people talk about the chiropractic lifestyle, but they don't apply it enough at the philosophy that even that DD and BJ and these guys and continue to fine tune or bring to light that it's not more universal. That we have enough trouble with our own people believing it, or using it, or wanting to understand it, and it's just a philosophy of life.
Yeah.
But the great thing today is that, but it's the chiropractic adjustment. That's the beauty of it, because then that's when it becomes chiropractic. You take this wonderful philosophy and
That's the
then
expression of it.
you can actually do something with it and
Yeah.
deliver as opposed to just talking about it.
It makes it applicable, doesn't it?
It's so wonderful. You can
Makes
go
it
and take it, right?
it makes it worthy,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. And I think when I talk about the lack of leadership in our profession, that's what's lacking,
Mhm.
because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur and make
Yeah.
money from it, as opposed to, no, we're going to take this beautiful thing and deliver it. And then you could still have all the coaches and consultants in the world helping to deliver it or have the systems to do so, right? We still have to run a business, but have the systems to do so, uh, for that delivery, to do it in the most efficient and love
Sustainable.
level of service way possible.
Yeah,
Yep.
in a sustainable way, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think
Yes.
the
You know,
real crux of the issue is that trying to take the chiropractic philosophy and be able to explain it in a medical model so you can get reimbursed by an insurance company.
yeah, right.
But
Well,
that's where I think we really began to lose it.
the bastardization of the profession, right?
Correct. It was
Yeah.
trying to fit a
Yeah.
square peg into a round hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You yeah.
that's where things got shaved off.
Yeah.
And that's why CCE and FCLB and NBCE uh, do the things they do. They're
Yeah.
trying to promote chiropractic as a subset of medicine versus a separate and unique and distinct profession
Yeah.
based upon the principles of chiropractic.
No,
I
yeah,
think,
it should have. I don't have a problem with insurance,
Me
but
neither.
they should have if they led with our philosophy
yes. Yeah.
and built, again, even the soap notes or report, whatever, but it built from that. I mean, I can't remember. I mean, I still remember the one consultant, and he said, "You can't have a 72 visit care plan," and I'm like, "Oh, why not? I
Yeah.
mean, do you see how sick this person is?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And I even said to him, why don't you focus on, and he was supposedly a subluxation guy. I was like, why don't you focus on helping us do that and get reimbursed and have them understand versus just you buying into the insurance system and the medical model and doing that, right? Which is the same thing with all of them. That's why it's so great. Like the more insurance sucks, the better off we are. Used because we were never ignoring that there was pain and people need pain care, but there's more to it than that. So use it and then transfer to chiropractic care. This is chiropractic pain care. I don't care what you call it.
Yeah.
This
Right.
is pain care.
Yeah.
But okay, now we're going to go to healing, or now we're going
Yeah.
to whatever.
Those of us that have a chiropractic lifestyle, right? Yeah, we can do that. But you can't have a chiropractic lifestyle without understanding the chiropractic philosophy. It would be like trying to explain your worldview without actually knowing and understanding and believing where you came from and where you're going
Right.
after this life, right? It can't. It's non-congruent. You can't have a chiropractic lifestyle unless you know the philosophy, understand it, and it's part of that lifestyle. You can't.
Right. Correct.
So
And the central theme as far as a chiropractor is removing interference by correcting subluxation. All
yeah,
the other stuff is, I don't want to say fluff, it's important, but it's secondary to that adjustment.
that's what chiropractic is, right?
Mhm. And I get it that insurance companies don't want to pay for wellness care or even full corrective care. Um, their job is to help people get reimbursed when they're hurting or they're sick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't.
And that may only be 12, 24 visits. It may be 124,
Yeah.
but the insurance company's not going to pay for all of that and can't
I'm
expect.
working from a place of ignorance here as far as insurance and allopathy goes, but it seems to me that they don't hardly pay for wellness care in the allopathic model either, right? I
No,
mean, I know as a pediatrician, you only get a couple of well care visits per year. I
and that's
mean,
just to get your shots. Really,
yeah, yeah,
that's just bringing them in to get their shots.
yeah,
Well, but also on those I honestly don't know, but my familiarity is that even on these wellness visits, you're not allowed to have a complaint
yeah.
in the
Right.
medical. Maybe I don't know about
No,
pediatrics, but in the medical model of your annual physical, I'll use that. I've
physical.
heard patients say that you get your 15 minutes or whatever the time is, but if you say, oh, by the way, I've got shoulder pain, they'll be like, oh, you got to make another appointment for
Waiting
that.
for that, right?
This is
Right.
your wellness visit.
You can't build that code with the wellness visit code, right? It won't
Exactly.
be paid. Yeah.
That's not wellness.
No.
That's not well. I mean,
It's not taking care of your people. Well, I don't want to say that because they'll
You
take
know,
care of you on a different day.
the health systems are teaching their physicians and their physicians' assistants to look for any way they can upcode
Yeah.
their visits.
It's happening
absolutely.
with us too, though.
Pardon me?
It's happening in the chiropractic world too.
Well, but they're only going to pay for most insurance companies just pay for an adjustment
Yeah.
regardless of that. So you can't get a higher fee for an adjustment,
No, no, no. But you can add other upcharges like,
therapy and rehab and things like that. That does have its place,
yeah.
but not in a lifetime wellness
No.
chiropractic model. So you have to, for lack of a better word, sell the patient in the beginning. There are different phases of care. The active care phase, where we're going to help you with your presenting symptoms, the corrective care phase to stabilize it, and then ultimately that wellness phase. And
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're trying to sell that after they go through that active care,
Can't do that.
you're
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to fail miserably.
absolutely.
It
I
has to
all
be brought up right in the beginning.
Yeah. All of like the Medicare patients and the people with limited insurance, although I didn't really accept, but maybe one insurance company and Medicare. Yeah, that was part of our scripting. And I'll use the word sell. I had to get them to understand that, yeah, your insurance company was going to pay for 12 visits, 24. And then after that, we still have a lot of work to do.
Yep.
And this is what's going to
Absolutely.
cost you. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
It
mean,
works.
if you don't explain it, you're not,
No,
yeah,
you're
you got,
fearful if you don't explain it.
yep.
They're not going to accept this. They're not going to believe this. They think I'm just trying to get more out of them. I got called a used car salesman many a times because of that, and yeah, I just say, okay, just sell me your equipment when you go out of business.
There you go. There
You
you
don't
go.
think plastic surgeons sell?
Yeah.
Dentists don't sell?
No, I know.
Orthodontists don't
I
sell?
know.
I mean, it's if you look at where people come into your office, they come into your office and you have to shift that paradigm. They want to get out of pain,
Yeah.
not pay any money, and not have to take any time or effort to do it. And
Yeah.
we have to shift that paradigm to,
Yeah.
hey, listen, this has been here your whole life.
Right.
We've got to work
Look
through
at this
that
thing.
process to get it. It's going to take a minimum of 12 months or a
Yeah.
minimum of 2 years, or this is something you should be for the rest of your life.
Yeah. We're not talking about this pain. We're talking about the rest of your life.
Mhm.
Right.
And the
We're talking
quality of it.
about your ability when your grandkids to show up, your ability to get on and off of that floor
Mhm.
3 days to have fun with them, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
So that's huge.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, maybe if we're going to close
Tie it
this,
up. Yeah.
if we're going to close this out a little bit, um, in this, maybe clarify, one of you guys clarify what you think the difference is between that manipulation and the adjustment. I know we said it a few times, but one of you guys kind of like make it solid, distinct.
Go for it, Terrence.
Well, I mean, it's all about the healer. It's all about the intention. And as we said before, that if you have an appreciation and you've studied chiropractic philosophy, it's the adjustment is now the tool to help remove the interference between the brain and body, but also, you know, help your innate to adapt, right, to the forces that to the universal forces, right? And as Sinnett said, we can become a universal force by this application, but we're now taking it with a philosophy, with our intent to deliver that, to remove the interference and have that connection to the mental impulse to allow healing from above down, inside out. So the difference with the manipulation is there's no intent to heal. Now it's just for the purpose of I'm going to restore motion. And that's probably the most
There you go.
common thing. I'm going to restore motion. So it's an admirable intent, but it has not taken it to a higher level. And that's something that can make the chiropractic adjustment bigger and more healing and have a more opportunity for that higher connection that we're all searching for, both patients and the doctor. That's the right. That's really
Yeah.
what we're shooting for. So
And
Perfect.
to dovetail with that, realize that insurance companies don't care about that, but patients do.
Hmm?
correct.
Perfect.
Doesn't make insurance companies bad.
No.
No, it's just not their responsibility.
Yeah,
No.
here's what you signed up for.
Yeah.
Hmm. This is
Yep.
what you get. This is what
Yep,
you need.
Yep.
yep,
Yep.
definitely.
Well,
So good
cool. All
stuff.
right. So like we've been doing the last couple of times, I'm going to ask anybody that watches us, the crowd that's getting larger and larger every month, to pass this along. That's our ask, is to share it.
Yep,
Just it's your responsibility to share it to somebody else. Let them get something out of it. Even if you don't think you got much out of it, that's okay. Share it to 10 other people because eight of them will.
yep,
Um, so the responsibility is to push this message along. That's what the three of us are doing. That's all we're doing. And we ask that you help us. That's all. So yeah,
yep. Thank you in advance.
yeah. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, perfect.
All right,
All
boys.
right, guys. Love you guys.
Go
Well,
enjoy your day. Have a happy day.
All right.
Talk later.
See
Talk
you.
later.